all the viewers of Q News English, and this is Vijay Rana along with Sudarshan Anna and as well as Bharat from our studios out here in Telangana. So people, to start with, it's a landmark day for ISRO and the entire India, because ISRO is about to commence the first unmanned flight tests for the Gaganyaan mission in Sriharikota, and Gaganyaan flight test vehicle abort mission 1 TVD1 will take place at 8 a.m. a few minutes from now. We will see another landmark being achieved in the history of space research by India. And also what we have here is, as the top headlines for today, is about Israel bombards Gaza Strip yet again. So Israel is all determined to eradicate Hamas from the map of the world. But owing to this bombarding and many other bombardings that have already happened, the devastation that has been caused and the civilian lives that have been impacted, the count is increasing by the day, and the whole world is definitely taking a notice of it, including India and United States as well. So humanitarian aid is on its way for the Palestinians, but the important point is eradication of the terrorist group Gaza, and many other terrorist groups have actually joined hands with Gaza to support them. They are being also supported. So the whole world has been divided into two factions, owing to which, let's see who takes what stance. Now India stands with both the countries. India stands with the civilians of Palestine, and India also stands in solidarity with Israel, because Israel was attacked. The attack was perpetrated by Hamas from the Gaza Strip. Now Israel bombarded the Gaza Strip early on Friday, hitting areas where Palestinians had been told to seek safety. Now that's they were earlier told that you need to go to this region and you will be safe, and now the same place has been attacked. So that's the big challenge. Now it has begun evacuating a sizable Israeli town near the border with Lebanon, and also the atmosphere is heating up at the other borders as well. So there will be other fronts that will be opened very soon, be it from the Lebanon side, or let's see if there is any third front that can also be opened. What are the possibilities of a third front being opened for Israel? So the latest sign of potential ground invasion of Gaza that could trigger regional turmoil. Amid the fighting, Israel's defense minister said the country did not have plans to maintain control over civilians in Gaza after its war against Hamas militant group. Again, it's not the militant group. There is a difference between militancy and terrorism. The kind of atrocities that were perpetrated by these terrorists, it's inhuman. They were raping the dead bodies of women, and also the kids were beheaded. These kind of brutal, no militant does this. Militant, they have an agenda, or they are they fight for a cause, but this is inhuman that was done to the Israelis, owing to which they are not sparing any lives. Once again, the level of retaliation is way much than anybody could have anticipated or expected. And also we have Hamas militant group. Now, Defense Minister Yoav Gallant's comments to lawmakers were the first time a top Israeli official discussed its long-term plans for Gaza. Gallant outlined. So they do have a long-term plan for Gaza, and let's see, we'll have to introspect more as to what exactly is Israel's plan when it comes to Gaza. Gaza is, so that just to have a perspective of it, Gaza was earlier a part of Palestine, and once Palestine attacked Israel, so Israel in turn took that territory as well. Israel won that war. They were attacked, right the day they were formed, the very next day they were under attack for next 1 year by 5 different countries, and they did win that war, and they did occupy the lands as well. So later on again, they were attacked multiple times. There have been multiple attacks on Israel, but each time they have emerged as a winner, and owing to which they also took some land, and Gaza Strip is one of the lands that they have taken, including the Jerusalem, and also two other. Where is the remaining news? Let's go to that. Territories. All right, commencing with airstrikes and ground operations, followed by the elimination of remaining pockets of resistance. The final phase involves ending Israel's responsibility for the welfare of Gaza Strip. So the plan is to end whatever, and this is like a backstabbing. For 2 years, there was nothing reported from Gaza Strip. Everything seemed peaceful. Hamas seemed like a peaceful organization who was trying to work for the upliftment of people of Palestine. But after 2 years, within these 2 years, they were actually accumulating the arsenal. They were planning these attacks on Israel, and it was a very well planned. They had tunnels to operate. It was very well anticipated that Israel's retaliation will be there, and that was the objective. The whole objective of this operation, what I believe personally, is to actually provoke Israel to retaliate in the fashion that Israel is retaliating, so that the entire world takes a notice of what happened in Palestine, and Palestine wants to be free. But this is not the way. What crimes you committed to the common man, to the civilians, to the Israelis. If you would have attacked the Israeli forces, we would have called you, militants. But you attacked the civilians. You murdered them, and you brutally raped their women. You killed women, children, the elderly, and with utmost brutality. The final phase involves, now Israel was, it went to an extent to support Palestinians by providing them jobs. They were taking care of the electricity, the water supply, the basic amenities. Everything was being taken care by Israel. And all of a sudden, they faced this barrage of 5,000 rockets on a holiday, on the final day of the holiday. And a lot of civilians were taken hostages as well. Now, there is a reason why why Hamas took these hostages. The reason is, the history of Israel. Now, even for one soldier, Israel care for each and every life of their citizens. And they did release a lot of terrorists earlier as well. They did negotiate with the terrorists, and for their own people, for their own soldier also, if you want, I can actually have a separate video on that as to what are the, how many times Israel has actually negotiated with these terrorists for their own people. So it's a very small community. Less than 1 crore people reside in Israel. So every individual is important for them. And that is the reason Hamas did know this as well about Israel, owing to which they took some captives as well, because it might help them in negotiations. So that was the objective of having those captives. Now, moving on, Israel says it will end its responsibility for the welfare of the Gaza Strip. So they are right now demolishing it into rubbles already, and they are going to further demolish the Gaza Strip, but they are not going to rebuild. That's what it means. It says Israel's responsibility for the welfare of the Gaza Strip will end. That will be the final phase where they will back out of Gaza, and they will never ever rebuild it. And following this, in the midst of the conflict, Palestinians in Gaza reported extensive airstrikes in Khan Yunis, a town in southern part of the territory. Ambulances transported men, women and children to the overwhelmed Nasser Hospital, Gaza's second largest medical facility, where patients and people seeking shelter had already filled the premises. The Israeli military said it had struck more than 100 targets across Gaza linked to the territory territory of the Hamas rulers, including a tunnel and arms deposit. Over 1 million people have been displaced in Gaza. Now the number, over 1 million, 1 million is equivalent to 10 lakhs. So for us Indians, it is 10 lakh people have been displaced because of this conflict. Now this is, I would say, I would go to an extent to say that this mission of Hamas, the terrorist group, has been a successful one. We see protests out here in India, we see protests in UK, we see protests in US. That was the objective of theirs. They did not care about more than 20 lakh people who have been affected by this act of war that has been perpetrated by them. They did not bother about their own. They precisely knew the magnitude of the retaliation would be way much higher, and the whole world will take notice. Let people die. That was their agenda. I can clearly say that their objective is complete. Everybody, including us sitting out here in Telangana, are discussing about Israel and Palestine. People who did not know about Palestine also are aware of it. The entire social media has taken to Israel and Palestine conflict. In fact, Israel and Hamas conflict, that's how it should have been taken up by the media out here in India and rest of the world. But why is Palestine's name coming into picture again and again? It's a terrorist group versus a nation. But the impact will be on Palestinians. That is what the objective of Hamas was, and it has been attained.